If your pastor is a narcissist, I'm going to give you some information on how you can spot him. Okay. Or her. Or her. Okay. Number one, the narcissist pastor is all about him or her. They want all of your adoration and praise coming to them. Narcissist pastors feel like they are the go-between they are the liaison between you and the God. They're the ones you have to go between them to communicate with God. This is the narcissist pastor. All right? The narcissist pastor makes you believe that he or she has a direct line to God, and they can tell you what you need to do if you want to get to God. Okay. Now, listen. The narcissist is possessed by an evil spirit. This evil spirit has been around for ages. It's an ancient spirit, a very intelligent spirit. You see, and it knows how to capture you. All right, so now you go to your house of worship to be enlightened, to praise your God. Okay? But, now think about this. Think about this. If your pastor is the narcissist, if your pastor is a narcissist, he has no connection with your God. His connection is with the underworld. It's with the underworld. He's only there to deceive you and to tell you, all the things that God needs for you to do. The narcissist will take your scriptures and tweak them around, and then recite them back to you. Now, the thing about it, the narcissist knows that you're not reading them for yourself. As a matter of fact, just to give you some information, when the Bible was first written, way back in Constantine's time, the Bible was written in a way that you wouldn't understand it. It was written in a way that it would be confusing for you to understand. It was only meant for the priest of the church to read these scriptures and to interpret them for you. Now, that's some history for you. That's some history for you. Okay, now we're talking about Christianity. That's what I was raised in, Christianity. And there's plenty of narcissists in Christianity. And these people are pretending to be one thing, and they are actually another thing. They are there to deceive you. Now, one way you can tell if your pastor is a narcissist is he preaching prosperity? Is he a prosperity preacher? Is he telling you the more seeds, they say seeds, but really they mean your money. The more money that you pour into the church, the more you'll be blessed. That's prosperity preaching. Prosperity preaching. Now, I want to say something about this because now you're a member of your church. And, church is like a club. It's like a club, a community group, and you want to support your group. So naturally, you'll give an offering because you want to support it. You want to support it. But when it comes to where the narcissistic pastor is badgering you to come up with more funds, more, and tell you that God is beckoning you to give this money, to find this money. No matter what you have to do to get it, find it and bring it back. That's the narcissist. That's the narcissist. And the narcissist is making you believe that you got to plant these seeds for any blessings to grow. And the seeds that he's talking about is your offering. Your offering. Let me tell you something. Now, I say the universe. I know it rubs some people the wrong way, but that's what I believe, okay? That's what I believe. I don't judge you, so don't judge me. It works for me. Okay. The universe doesn't need your money. The universe has everything. It already has everything. What does he need from you? What does the universe need from you? And your pastor is holding you accountable for the amount of money that you're paying to be part of the group. See, you got to bring it down to what it really is. For what it really is, because people go to the house of worship and they give, believing that they're going to get all of these tremendous blessings because they gave. Now, I'm going to explain to you about giving. Okay. When you give from your heart, nobody came and solicited, nobody asked you, nobody begged you, nobody badgered you, nobody made you feel guilty if you didn't give it, but you gave it from your heart because you wanted to support something. Then the universe will bless you because you gave freely from your heart to help someone or to help or to support a purpose or whatever. You gave freely from your heart. But I'm going to tell you, when you go to your house of worship and they're making you feel guilty because you don't put enough money in the plate, or, they call you into the office because you haven't paid your tithes or whatever like that, you need to think twice whether you need to be a part of that group or not. Because God's, I'm going to put an S on it, God's do not need your money. They don't need it. They don't need it. These are prosperity pastors that are telling you these lies just to drain you of your finances. Because religion has become big business. It's a $1 billion business. And that's why these churches are propping up everywhere. Churches everywhere. You see? And you want to go to the big church. The big church where the prosperity preacher is. You see? And he drives up in his Rolls Royce. You see? And it's a big fine building. The ushers out there with the little white gloves on and people directing traffic and all that. And you want to be a part of that because you want to see and you want to be seen. All right. To be a part of that club is going to cost. It's going to cost you. But don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. What you're paying to be a part of the club is not going to get you to the heavenly place that you think that you're headed for. It has nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it. You see, you are supporting your pastor to keep him in his big fine house and keep him driving his Rolls Royce. You see, and you are idolizing your pastor. Now, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that even your God probably doesn't want you to idolize other folks as gods. A lot of people in these prosperity ministries stand up like they they stand up like they have the direct line to God. God called them to direct you. To direct you. And you go to the house of worship and you are entertained. You are entertained to the highest. You know, the choir and the music and the people, you know, it's thousands and thousands of people there. And your prosperity pastor is putting on a big show for you. People, this is not spiritual. There's no spirituality in it. It's just like you going to a show. You're just going to a show. And 9 times out of 10, he is tweaking those scriptures so you're not even getting the truth there. You're not getting the truth. People, if you want to know the truth, you got to seek it for yourself and quit running after these people to do it for you. You got a brain. You got a brain and you got a mouth. You got a mouth. Your God, why you can't just talk to your God yourself? What do you need him for? Think about it. Think about it. Why do you need to go to him on your day of worship, to hear him rattle off some nonsense? Why do you need that? Number one, I doubt it if your God is sitting up there in that church. And a lot of people believe that when they go into their house of worship, that God is there. The Spirit of God is there. If your pastor is a narcissist, the spirit of evil is there. There's no spirituality in it. And you all are in there just jumping around and shouting to the music and all of that, and dancing. And dancing. Dancing in the church. They call it holy dancing. That's what they call it. Holy dancing. People, you're being deceived. You are being deceived. You think that going there is going to stamp your ticket to go to a heavenly place when you leave this life. You're being deceived. You are wasting your life on believing in this false doctrine and these false prophets. These false pastors who all of them claim, oh yeah, I was called. You know, God called me to get out of here. Get out of here. You decided to go into the ministry because it was safer than what you was doing on the block. The police not going to come in and arrest you for doing this. You see, people, A lot of your prosperity pastors was pimps on the block. So they come, they decided they're going to do this. It's a lot of them that decide they're going to do this. These pastors are popping up every day. Popping, and a lot of them are just, they'll pop up a church in their basement. It's all about the money. It's a business. But they hide behind the Bible to trick you, to take advantage of you. That's all it is. If you want a relationship with your God, you don't need a middleman for that. You can worship your God right at home. You can worship your God anywhere. You don't need to go out there for this person to make you feel some sort of way. And usually they make you feel some sort of way if you can't pay. Now, if you can go there and you paying your tithes and your offerings are big, and well, then they love to have you. They love to have you because, you help this wheel to keep turning. Help this wheel to keep turning. But understand that this is not spiritual. You think it is because of the Bible. Because of that Bible, you think it is. You think it's spiritual. That Bible has been used for a lot of things. And it hasn't always been for the good of the people. There's a lot of holy books out here. There's a lot of holy books out here. But it seems that Christianity is flourishing. Is flourishing. Because people want to believe that this life that they don't enjoy, they're going to enjoy in another life. What I'm trying to tell you is you're here to enjoy this life. And religion is a big part of that. It's a big part of that. Religion condones slavery. Condones slavery. Is slavery right? Is it right? I ask you, to enslave other people for your better good. For your better good. You weren't meant to come here for that. This is man doing this. This is evil doing this. Your narcissistic pastor is actually turning you away from spirituality instead of bringing you towards spirituality. Number one, because your narcissistic pastor is not spiritual. He is evil. He or she. All you got to do is wake up and understand what's really happening around you. Really happening around you. Now, it's funny because some of these narcissistic pastors, they have people in their church who prophesy, who stand up, all right, who stand up and pretend that a Holy Spirit is speaking through them to you, giving you these messages. When you may be surrounded by evil. These messages could be coming from demons. How do you know the difference? How do you know the difference? One way you can tell, are you happy? Since you've been going to this house of worship, has your life improved? Has it improved? Are you abundant? You see? Do you have everything that you desire in your life? Or do you got to run to the house of worship and pray for it every Sunday or wherever day you go? You got to beg for it. Whatever you want, you got to go there and you got to get on your knees and pray and sweat and tears and pray and beg for it. That show you right there, you got to disconnect. That show you right there. You are not connected. You are not connected to the divine. If you got to beg. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And these prosperity preachers, now what they'll do is show you miracles. They'll show you some healing miracles. Have somebody to come up who can't walk, he in a wheelchair, and he'll put his hand on, put some oil on him or whatever. All of a sudden he's standing up and walking and shouting and all this. And you can't believe it. You can't believe it. People, don't be duped by these false people. That's what I'm telling you. Don't be duped. And if you are dealing with a narcissistic pastor, your best bet is to leave. He's never going to have anything good for you. He's never going to have anything good. He is twisting those scriptures around to suit himself for his own gain, for his own prosperity and gain. And then he's telling you, you see what I got? If you believe like me, you can have this. That's why you're running over there, because he's making you believe that, if you follow him, you can have the life like what he has. When all he's doing is you're the one who is supplying his life. You're supporting his life. You're the one that's doing it. But he is making you believe. He's making you believe that if you listen to his words, then your God is going to bless you like this. Listen, people. Listen. Now, prosperity preachers are the worst. They, in my opinion, my humble opinion, they are the worst, because their objective is to get wealthy from your blood, sweat, and tears. When you go to the church and you're ushering or directing traffic or whatever you're doing at the church, it's free labor. The church doesn't have to pay for people to do that, unless they're giving you $10 or $20 to do it. When the church is raking in millions. You see? And a lot of times, the church is not giving back to the community. Not giving back to the community. You see these big, fine churches right in the middle of ghettos. People all around are poor. But these magnificent churches are sitting right in the middle of the ghetto. They're not putting any money back into those communities. They taking all that money and going to the suburbs. or wherever they go to enjoy their lives. People, beware. Beware. Because these prosperity preachers cannot function without you. Without you. And I know a lot of you are taken in by this because of the crowd. You know, a lot of times we want to be part of the crowd, part of the group. You want to be part. You don't have enough strength to step away from the crowd. Step away from the crowd. You figure if this many people is following this guy, it must be real. Well, you know, Jim Jones took all them people down there in Guyana somewhere, and guess what? And guess what? Be careful, people. Be careful who you put your faith in. You really shouldn't be putting your faith in people. Number one, you shouldn't be putting your faith in people. Because a lot of times, fame can breed destruction. You know, your pastor may have started out humble, but as things grew, the church got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. He got greedier and greedier and greedier. That's narcissistic. That's narcissistic. And some of these pastors are sexualizing their flock that they're supposed to be looking over. That's sexualizing. You know, women come in and, you know, they talk about the difficulties they're having at home with their husbands. Next thing you know, the pastor's having sex with them. Or the young men. Let's not leave them out. It's pastors having sex with the young men too. These are narcissistic pastors. And why you keep going to these churches where you know that they're doing these things is beyond me. It's beyond me. You must like the entertainment or something. It's not spiritual. So don't fool yourself. It's not spiritual at all. It's not spiritual. People, I hope you understand this message. I know when I talk about religion and the narcissist, it can get a little sticky. It can get a little sticky for those of us who are religious. You know, you don't want to believe that the person leading your flock could be a demon. You don't want to believe that. But you need to go in with your eyes open and see exactly what's going on before you go in there and just get involved in it. Get involved in it. You see? Ladies, protect yourself. At all costs, protect yourself. Right? I'm going to end it here. And I thank you so much for your comments. And those requests, you know, I read the request, and if I have experience in it, I'll get around to it. If I have experience in it, I will get around to talk to you about it. But this thing about the narcissistic pastors, see, narcissists are saying that they can get into this business, make the money, get all of the attention that they desire, get all of the sex, because the churches are filled with women Lonely women. Lonely women. The church is filled with that. You see? And believe me, there are narcissistic pastors who are women too. And they just like the men. Just like the men. Deceiving people. Deceiving you. You see? With these unholy spirits and this unholy gospel. People, I hope that you understand this message. And again, I want to thank you all for viewing this video. And I want to thank you for supporting this channel. Keep your comments coming. And I wish you all well and happiness. And just watch out. Keep your thinking caps on. And this way you can protect yourself. I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope to see you next time.